This is Jason Anderson, Chairman of the Killen Town Council, and we are calling this regular Town Council meeting to order. It is currently 7:02 p.m. on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. At this time, we're going to move on to our prayer, and we have Pastor Joseph Baldinger from the Church of the Nazarene. Yes, please.
If it's appropriate, did bring a notebook. If there are pertinent prayer requests, I would mind including them in the prayer. Are there any ones that would? Everything's perfect in the world that we live in. Keep your prayers to yourself. Okay, all right, we got that. This time we have an opportunity to pray, and the scripture in James says in verse 5 of chapter 1 says, if any one of you is lacking in wisdom, ask God who gives it all to generously and ungrudgingly, and it will be given to you. But ask in faith, never doubting, for the one who doubts is like the wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. Shall we pray? Father in heaven, God of creation, the one who has made us all, the one who has given us life and breath day in and day out. Help us to be thankful for this gift of wisdom that you do give to us when we ask for it. I ask that you would be with these members and leaders of this community and those who are here this evening to witness what goes on in this meeting. That it would be a time of growth and development, a time of compassion, a time of love, a time of working through difficult things that may be difficult. And I pray, O Lord, that you would give wisdom and discernment. As Paul has told us to pray for our leaders, I do ask that now, that your kingdom would come and that your will would be done among us here on earth as it in heaven, to your glory and honor. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. I will say a prayer myself as well. Dear Lord and Heavenly Father, we just thank you for those of us here who've been able to serve this community, and we thank you for the opportunity that's given us. We thank you for your guidance and your wisdom over these years. And for those of us who this will be our last meeting, we just ask you to be with everyone as they move forward in the next chapters in their lives and help guide each step as they go. And we also ask you to give your guidance and wisdom to the council members who are going to be coming on. Help guide them in a direction on what's best by the community and have them serve with compassion and understanding. And we ask this in Jesus' precious name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I steal your pen? For roll call purposes, all council members are in attendance, except for Mr. Whitehead, who is absent with notification, and Mr. Grandelski, who is going to be joining us later. We have no minutes for item 5, so we'll now move on to item 6. Which is a proclamation recognizing Joel Gouliat as Killenly Public School 2025 to 2026 Teacher of the Year. Whereas it is a privilege to recognize Ms. Joel Gouliat, a dedicated educator whose passion for teaching and learning is evident the moment one steps into her classroom. Ms. Gouliat has served the Killenly Public Schools with distinction for 25 years, leaving a lasting mark on countless students, their families, and our school community. And whereas in her role as a first grade teacher, she has inspired in her students a genuine love of reading and writing, guiding them to become confident, joyful readers and writers who carry their skills far beyond the classroom. Her read-alouds are described as magical, bringing stories and characters to life while nurturing comprehension, empathy, and imagination. And whereas Ms. Gulia is equally masterful in mathematics instruction, fostering confidence and competence in her students through clarity, creativity, and patience. She goes beyond academics by building meaningful relationships with her students and their families, celebrating each child's individuality and creating a classroom environment where every student feels valued, supported, and inspired. And whereas her unwavering dedication, her love of literacy, and her commitment to nurturing young minds embody the very best of the teaching profession, Joelle Gouliat serves as a model of excellence, inspiring her colleagues, her students, and our entire community with her passion, skill, and heart. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Killenly Town Council that Joelle Gouliat be publicly recognized for her exemplary service and the well-earned distinction and respect she receives from her students and peers as the 2025-2026 Killenly Public School Teacher of the Year. And be it further proclaimed that she be commended for her devotion to her students, their families, their school, and their community. Killenly Town Council, Jason Anderson, Chairman, dated at Killenly, Connecticut, this 18th day of 2025.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor, and I appreciate this so very much. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you so much.
I apologize. One more picture.
Thank you. I should just say, it is an honor to teach in Killenly, and I have been here for over 30 years, and my mom before me taught in Killenly for 32 years, so I really love being in Killenly, and I love the school and my administration and the town that I work in. So thank you so much, it's an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item up on the agenda is item 6B, which is a proclamation honoring Chris Sullivan, Harvard H. Ellis Technical School, 2005-2026 Teacher of the Year. Whereas Chris Sullivan has been a valued member of the faculty at Harvard H. Ellis Technical School since 2018, bringing with him over 20 years of professional experience in the automotive trade, whereas through his calm and approachable demeanor, affectionately earning him the student-bestowed title of Most Chill, Mr. Sullivan has created a classroom environment built on respect, encouragement, and hands-on learning. Mr. Sullivan's commitment to helping his students reach their full potential, both in and out of the classroom, has led many of his graduating seniors to secure successful career placements in the automotive field. And whereas, in addition to being a devoted husband and father of two, Mr. Sullivan goes above and beyond for his students by maintaining a pantry stocked with food and hygiene items for anyone in need, exemplifying compassion and community spirit. And whereas his steady presence, unwavering commitment to student success, and genuine care for others have made him a true role model and an inspiration to all. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Killenly Town Council that Chris Sullivan be publicly recognized for his exemplary service and the well-earned distinction and respects he receives from his students and peers as the 2025-2026 Harvard H. Ellis Technical School Teacher of the Year. And be it further proclaimed that he be commended for his devotion to his students, their families, their school, and their community. Killingley Town Council, Jason Anderson, Chairman, dated at Killingley, Connecticut, this 18th day of November 2025. I would like to add someone who had their certification in vocational technical education in the automotive field. It is so important for our trades. We are so understaffed in every trade right now, automotive especially. And I'm so thankful for teachers like yourself who are mentoring students, teaching students, because I know in my field and my workplace, we definitely need new mechanics coming in, new mechanics, new body men, and I have a lot of friends in the trades, and everybody is short-staffed, so there's such an importance to what you do. Next item up on the agenda is 6C, proclamation honoring Lisa Bugzewski as St. James Parochial School 2025-2026 Teacher of the Year, and I apologize if I mispronounce your last name. Whereas it is a privilege to recognize Ms. Lisa Bugzewski, a fourth grade teacher at St. James Parochial School who demonstrates excellence, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to shaping the lives of young people. And whereas Ms. Bugzewski is admired for her patience, dedication, and devotion to the growth of every student, encouraging them to thrive at their own level while instilling confidence, respect, and a love of learning. Students deeply appreciate Ms. Bugzewski for the help, guidance, and encouragement she offers, creating a warm and welcoming classroom atmosphere where children are excited to learn each day. And whereas parents and families commend Ms. Bugzewski for holding her students to high standards, nurturing both their academic and personal growth, and for her steadfast commitment to faith, community, and education. And whereas Ms. Bugzewski exemplifies the very best of the teaching profession and her contributions extend far beyond the classroom, enriching the entire community of St. James Parochial School and the town of Killingley. And now therefore be it proclaimed by the Killingley Town Council that Lisa Bugzewski be publicly recognized for her exemplary service and the well-earned distinction and respect she receives from her students and her peers as the 2025-2026 St. James Parochial School Teacher of the Year. Be it further proclaimed that she be commended for her devotion to her students, their families, their school, and their community. Killingley Town Council, Jason Anderson, Chairman, dated at Killingley, Connecticut, this 18th day of November, 2025.
Is it okay to make a comment?
If any of the teachers would like to comment, please feel free.
Can I make a comment?
You can as well.
Thanks. To all three of the recipients, two things. First, thanks for your devotion and your patience teaching children. I think it's very underestimated how important it is. And secondly, I don't think I've ever met anybody in my life that didn't have a shape from a teacher. And I think it just goes unnoticed a lot. And I just think it's so important. We look at teachers and, the year to year, you're making such a difference in people's lives, and they remember it, So, thanks.
Thank you. Moving on in the agenda, next item up is item 6D. Which is a proclamation recognizing the 70th Annual Interfaith Thanksgiving Service at Temple Beth Israel in Danielson, Connecticut. Whereas the town of Killenly proudly recognizes Temple Beth Israel, a historic landmark listed on the National Registry of Historic Places, built in 1950 by Holocaust survivors and immigrant families who rebuilt their lives here and helped shape the civic and cultural fabric of our community. And whereas for 70 consecutive years, Temple Beth Israel and the Federated Church of Christ of Brooklyn have joined together to host the Interfaith Thanksgiving Service, a cherished tradition that embodies the enduring values of faith, gratitude, and fellowship, and has long stood as a beacon of unity and friendship across differences of faith and background. And whereas this gathering reflects the best of our community's spirit, compassion, generosity, and service, through its support for local charitable causes, including the Friends of Assisi Food Pantry and the community kitchens of Northeast Connecticut, strengthening the bonds that enrich the life of Killenly and the surrounding region. And whereas the town of Killenly honors this milestone year as a testament to the power of faith, gratitude, and cooperation in nurturing, understanding, friendship, and peace among all people. And now therefore be it proclaimed by the Killenly Town Council that November 25th, 2025 be recognized as Interfaith Thanksgiving Day of Gratitude and Fellowship in the town of Killenly, and urge all residents to join in celebrating the 70th Annual Interfaith Thanksgiving Service, honoring the legacy of those who built a house of hope, and reaffirming our shared commitment to compassion, understanding, and community unity. Killenly Town Council, Jason Anderson, Chairman, dated at Killenly, Connecticut, this 18th day of November, 2025. At this time, we'll move on in the agenda. Next item up is item 8, citizen statements and petitions. If anyone would like to make public comment, please step up to the podium and state your name and address. Brian, did we have anything submitted by email?
We did not.
Thank you. Last call for public comment. Seeing no public comment, we'll move on. Next item up is council and staff comments. Ms. Barclay.
I have a couple of people in my district that asked about a stop sign on Cook Hill and where it intersects with Cranberry Bog. It currently has a stop sign on Cranberry Bog, but coming from Route 6 towards Cranberry Bog, that's a blind corner, and the cars travel very quickly. So that was a request from several people in my district. And also I'd like to again bring up the bigger signage for posting of planning and zoning meetings and zone Board of Appeal meetings. The signage is very small. I brought this up several years ago. The town currently makes the signs, and all you need to do is just write on it with a Sharpie, so I really don't think that it would be any really big undertaking to make bigger signs. I'll bring up again that on the zoning planning and zoning meeting that was concerning the development on, what was the name of that street again, Michelle? On off of Maple. It's a private road. The sign was posted on the private property. It was back on a tree and
Colonial Drive.
Colonial Drive. You would never even know that and then, the sign's that big. And even for one time that was on Route 6, you literally had to stop and get out of your car to read the sign.
Well, the bigger signs are in the works, so you should see those soon.
Okay, because
And,
it's been a couple of years that I've asked
Yeah,
for those.
I'll check out the stop sign situation and follow back up with you.
Okay. And another thing I'm still having questions about is I think you have more the exact answer to the question, Jason, about the money for the first responders, their mental health program, and why they didn't get all of the funding. I'm still getting a couple of questions on that.
So, the Quiet Corner group is submitting requests. As the town gets the requests, they review if the funding requests are eligible for the opioid settlement funding. If the requests are eligible and they're being reviewed by our finance director, Jen Hawkins, who is also working with the state of Connecticut, to deem if these requests for the Quiet Corner Peer Support Group are eligible for the opioid money. If they are, then the money has been dispersed to them. I don't know what the exact figure is right now, but that entire amount that the council designated out of the opioid settlement for the peer support group is available for the peer support group, but they have to present requests that meet the requirements of the state for the opioid settlement. The downfall is if we were just to hand them all the money and they spent it on things that aren't eligible, then the town would have to pay back that money. And in a sense, that the town would have to figure out where we were going to pull the money from, and it could come down to having to increase taxes or do a supplemental appropriation to cover the amount. Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll move on in the agenda. Next item up is item 10, interviews and possible appointments to boards and commissions. This evening, we're doing it a little bit different than normal because we didn't have a special meeting this month to be able to interview the applicants. We have asked the applicants to be here to be able to interview, and then once we go through the interviews, we can come back and either make appointments at the end, or we can make appointments vote on making appointments at the end of the interviews. So we will start with Aaron Achenbach, who is seeking reappointment to the Ag Commission. Aaron, are you here? Okay, we'll move on. Next item up is 10B. Joseph Higgins is seeking reappointment to the WPCA. Joe, we just asked you to make sure the light is on the mic.
Good evening.
Good evening. Just want to say thank you for coming forward and seeking reappointment to WPCA. We know there's a lot going on down there right now, and it's great that you're looking to seek reappointment down there. Can you just tell us a little bit about your time on the WPCA so far and why you're seeking reappointment?
Sure. I've been on the WPCA since 2016 now. The associate chair, so I cover when Pat isn't there. I'm very familiar. I went through the whole upgrade of the facility, and I've been a long time member there almost. So I figured I'd stay on since I know so much, and I feel like I'm a valued member of the WPCA.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from council members?
I'd like to comment on that statement. You don't just feel like it. You are a very valued person, Joe. It's just a pleasure to have you, and you're constantly asking questions and raising the bar. They're very lucky to have you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Do you have anything further for us?
No, not at this time.
Okay. I want to say thank you again for coming forward seeking reappointment, and we'll be voting this evening on your reappointment.
Thank you.
Thank you. So while we're on item 10B, I'm just going to pull up what the terms would be. So I will entertain a motion to reappoint Mr. Higgins as a regular member of the Water Pollution Control Authority. This would be regular member number 3. His term would run from November 1st, 2025 to October 31st, 2028. He has attended 9 out of 9 meetings in 2024 and 7 out of 9 meetings in 2025. The Water Pollution Control Authority currently has no vacancies. I will entertain a motion to reappoint Mr. Higgins.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Mo-
second it.
Motion was made by Ms. Barclay, seconded by Mr. Catula. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Trying to get ahead of myself. Motion carries. Thank you again, Joe. Next up on the agenda, Holly Blade is seeking to switch from an alternate member to a regular member of the Board of Rec. Welcome, Holly.
Thanks.
Can you tell us a little bit about your time on the Board of Rec and why you're seeking reappointment?
I've been on the Board of Rec for the last 5 years. I currently run the theater program in town for the last 8 years. I've been the alternate member, but due to the passing of Mr. Carter, there's a seat open for a permanent member, so I'd just like to adjust into that seat.
Thank you.
I will say that Holly does a phenomenal amount of work with the rec department. If you've never been to a theater production, her and
Natasha.
Natasha, yeah, they just do a phenomenal job. I'm not a big fan of horror, but that Jekyll and Hyde was
Was great.
was pretty intense. And what's really cool is how they've incorporated sensory-friendly shows so that all children and all adults can enjoy these performances. So it's just, she would be a perfect, just slide you in there and keep on doing what we're already doing. So.
Thanks, Tammy.
I'd like to, the second, what Tammy said there, and you see the amount of volunteers for the Little Theater on Broad Street, what they do and with the budget they do it, it's kind of the epitome of what donating your time to the community is. So thank you for all the time.
Thanks, Tony.
It's a lot.
Thank you. Any other comments? Do you have any other questions for us?
No?
All right. Just want to say thank you for your time that you've served on Board of Rec, and thank you for seeking reappointment.
Thanks.
Thank you. So I will enter, this is item 10C. I will entertain a motion to appoint Ms. Blade as a regular member on the Board of Rec. She is currently alternate member number 2. She would be moving to regular member number 1. Ms. Blade has attended 2 out of 3 meetings in 2024 and 3 out of 3 meetings in 2025. The Board of Rec currently has 1 regular member vacancy. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Motion made by Ms. Wakefield, second by Mr. Gambatista. Any further discussion? Question, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, we missed A too if we wanted to be consistent, like we didn't vote on her.
She wasn't here for,
So we're not gonna,
she didn't
Do it?
interview, so. yeah.
okay, all right.
Had she, if this was a situation where she had interviewed during the past year, we don't require people to come to re-interview if they've applied during the past year.
She won't like run out of her time or anything, will she?
No, basically what happens with any board and commission member, even if their term expires, they, in a sense, have the ability to fill that seat until one of two things happen. Either they come back for reappointment, or if someone else were to apply, they could be appointed into that seat if the seats are expired. Next item up is Item 10D, Lori Chapman is seeking appointment to the Public Safety Commission. Welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're seeking appointment to Public Safety? Is there a green light?
Oh, there we go. Sorry. Yikes. Okay, great. Now I feel like I'm too loud. Well, I had actually applied a couple of years ago, but apparently there wasn't a quorum, so I was denied. So they had put me on the wait list, and then I had gotten an email recently to be on the board to come and interview. I just feel like it's time to give back to my community, and I feel like this board kind of speaks to me. My degree is in criminal justice. The work that I do, I work for a bank. I'm in risk. I'm in compliance. The security officer used to report to me, so I feel like this is the board where I can kind of dip my toe in, get myself involved in the community, where I've lived here for the last 15 years, and just become involved, and this is where I can actually give back and have some valuable input into the community.
Thank you. I will say I did serve on public safety
Did you?
prior to being on the town council and really enjoyed my time there. Had one project I was working on, but once I got elected, I had to step down from public safety. And I would love to see that come back around. That was a child car seat safety clinic is what I was trying to get the town to
Yeah.
hold. So, any questions or comments from council members? I always say thank you to people who come forward to look to volunteer and serve the community.
Great.
So thank you for coming forward. And it does seem to me that your experiences would definitely be a good fit for public safety.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. So for item 10D, I will entertain a motion to appoint Ms. Chapman as a regular member on the Public Safety Commission. Her term would run from May 1st, 2025 to April 30th, 2029. She would become regular member number 2. The Public Safety Commission currently has 3 regular member vacancies and 2 alternate member vacancies. Can I get a motion?
I'll second it.
Motion was made by Ms. Barclay, seconded by Mr. Catula. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We'll now move on in the agenda. Morgan Bjerregaard is seeking appointment to either the Vision Committee, Planning and Zoning Commission, or Permanent Building Commission. Morgan did interview within the past year, even though she did interview for the Vision Committee. I did speak to Morgan today to find out if they were going to be able to make it to the meeting tonight. They've got family up from out of state, so they weren't going to be able to make it. I did have a rather lengthy conversation. After, when Morgan came forward before for the Vision Committee appointment and she was not voted onto the Vision Committee, Morgan had emailed the council members who hadn't voted for her to ask why. I wanted to talk to Morgan and explain my position. What I did state was when we started the Vision Committee, one thing that was talked about, I brought it up myself multiple times, and Mr. Gambatista brought it up as well, that we wanted to have a vast, very diversified Vision Committee and not have all of one political party, have all of one group or one organization be represented. So what I had explained to Morgan was my reason for not voting for Morgan wasn't because of qualifications. What I looked at was when we created the Vision Committee and we appointed 9 members, what myself and other town council members didn't know was that we appointed 1/3 of the Vision Committee we appointed were members at Westfield Church. So my reason for not voting for Morgan was based off not wanting to give one organization 1/3 of the say on a commission that we wanted to represent the whole town. And I stated if it was a fact of Westfield Church was a super church and had 2,000 members, 3,000 members, then having 1/3 of the Vision Committee be members of one church, then at that point I can say, okay, well, with that kind of membership, the church itself is representing 1/3 of the community. So that was my reasoning behind it. And I just wanted to share that because Morgan had talked to me about that. Morgan also, in the email she sent out, gave out a detailed resume, which I actually printed off and I can pass out to council members if you haven't seen this yet. I spoke with Mr. Catula regarding Morgan's experience and background. My personal opinion, I feel Morgan would be a really good fit for the Permanent Building Commission. Oh, you've already seen? Okay. I don't know if they have.
I'm going to.
I don't know that this was, because this was in the email that I received after the Vision Committee appointment. So, with that being said, and the fact that Morgan is already interviewed within a year, technically, even though Morgan didn't interview for these specific boards and commissions, there's nothing that requires Morgan to come and interview for other boards and commissions if Morgan's already interviewed within the past year. So that being said, I will entertain a motion to appoint Morgan Beauregard, which I don't know, there we go. It will be item 10E, as a alternate member of the Permanent Building Commission. Her term would run from December 16th, 2024 to December 15th, 2028. Morgan would be alternate member number 1. The Permanent Building Commission currently has 1 alternate member vacancy. I will entertain a motion to appoint Morgan. Motion was made by Ms. Barclay, seconded by Ms. Murphy. Discussion?
I had read Morgan's resume before, and when I saw that she wanted to go for planning and zoning and permanent building, I also thought that permanent building would be a great spot.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. One abstent, Mr. Grandelski abstained. Motion carries. Next item up on the agenda, Jasmine Birdie is seeking appointment to the Vision Committee. Jasmine has interviewed within the past year. She did not get appointed. She did reapply. If Jasmine would like, Jasmine can come up and we can ask her questions. If anyone has questions for her, if Jasmine would like to speak regarding appointment to the Vision Committee. Welcome.
Hi.
So, do you have anything you would like to say? I know you had interviewed before and we had asked your questions before. Do you have anything you would like to bring up or add?
Yeah, I would like to say that.
Microphone on, green light.
Oh, yep, sorry. I would like to say that I think that as a mom of 3 in the community and as a stay-at-home mom, I think I'd bring really good perspective into the town. And I think that within my case management experience that I've had and being a group home manager, working in healthcare as a CNA, I think that working with diverse populations is really something that I can bring to the table. And I like to be involved in the town in different parts of it. And I'm involved with my church, and my kids are, and it's a different church in Danielson. But I like to get involved with the community, and I've been going to the Vision Committee meetings. The last one that I went to was at the library, and I spoke up about, like I have been speaking up about, his activities for kids and teens in the town. And another thing is maybe me offering as well, like free transitional services, you know, like if maybe teens from the high school, whether it's Killingly or Ellis, you know, want to meet up once a month,
at the library, I'd be willing to help them do some job searches, create resumes, that sort of thing, because I think that we need to keep the teenagers and kids engaged in the town and, really give them some good skills. And I also mentioned bringing up about maybe working with teachers from Ellis Tech with trade and stuff, to do some sort of work with them, with high school students, keep them engaged and get them career goal oriented. And yeah, I love this town, and it's always felt like home to me. And I really like, everybody here and the small knit community that there is. And I just feel like I'd be honored to participate in fostering some of this community.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
I've got a question. So, you like to work with kids. What would be your concept? Like, it might be great to get some young people's perspective of how they see the community developing. What would be your ideas for that?
So one thing would be to try to create more activities in town for kids, like ages, 10 to 16, like I've suggested before. Maybe even start mom groups or dad groups, grandparents groups, just something to keep all family members engaged, or maybe even foster, family groups. I think that we're just such a close-knit community that we already see people working together, and there's different Facebook pages of the community where everybody helps each other out. So I think that putting in little groups like that, whether it's play groups or learning groups or that sort of thing, would really help out with youth, especially the lack of activities. And coming with winter time, I know that's narrows it down even more, but I just think that people kids should stay connected and build those relationships throughout the community.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, want to thank you for coming forward again.
Thank you.
So for item 10F, I will entertain a motion to appoint Ms. Birdie as a regular member on the Vision Committee. Her term would run from March 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2026. She would be regular member number 6, and the Vision Committee currently has 1 regular member vacancy and 2 alternate member vacancies. Can I get a motion to appoint Ms. Birdie? Motion was made by Ms. Barclay. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Murphy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Mr. Playa, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Grandaleski,
No.
Counselor Giambattista,
No.
Counselor Murphy,
Yes.
Counselor Coturla,
No.
Counselor Wakefield,
No.
Counselor Barclay,
Yes.
Counselor Anderson.
Yes. Motion fails 4-3. We'll now move on in the agenda. Next item up is item 11A, Board of Education Liaison. And
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, you skipped an item.
Oh, yes,
For
I did.
yourself.
I
How could
skipped
you?
myself. Item 10G, I'm seeking reappointment to the Cable Advisory Committee.
We just put you on that too, didn't
2 years ago.
we? Was it 2 years ago?
Yep. And we actually don't have any information. So this was a weird one because Cable Advisory Committee notified me roughly 6 months ago saying that my term had expired, but it actually hadn't. So it would run for 2 years. I believe it would run until December 1st of 2027. I've attended the majority of Cable Advisory Committee meetings over the past 2 years. For myself, it's easy for me to attend the meetings due to the meetings are held at the Mauville Town Hall, half a mile down the road from where I work. In order to be on the Cable Advisory Committee, you do not have to be a council member. Regular members of the public can be members on the committee. Currently, we do have 2 vacancies for Cable Advisory Committee from the town. If I'm not reappointed, mine would be the second vacancy. So I will entertain a motion to appoint myself as Cable Advisory Committee member.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Grandelski, seconded by Mr. Gamatista. Any discussion?
How much input do we have during those meetings? Is there,
I'll be honest, there really isn't a lot of input to give. It's more of, basically, we hear from Southeast Connecticut TV what they're doing at their studios, what kind of programming they're having. And we get updates from Atlantic Broadband as far as service, what's going on, and honestly, it's you're there listening to what's going on, and you come back and report to the council. With me not being on a council, I could email the chair of the council just to keep the chair updated.
it's nice to have somebody there.
Yeah.
But again, how can we change policies, or is there anything? It seems like it's.
The one thing that, the only time I've actually voted on anything down there has been expenditures, and that was for spending money on a lobbyist to try and change the state statute regarding how the public access channel gets funding. Their funding is based off of subscriptions to the cable network. So as more people switch to streaming, their funding drops. So what they're trying to do is change it to where they get some funding based off streaming customers.
Well, it's least nice to know that. I mean,
Yeah.
without anybody there, we wouldn't have any idea that
Yeah.
even that is going on.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your, putting yourself out to still be there.
Any other questions, comments? I will be abstaining from this. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next item up on the agenda is item 11A, Board of Education Liaison, which we do not have this evening. So we'll move on to 11B, Borough Council Liaison.
So the borough met in October 22nd. We're actually meeting again tomorrow night. They went over basically our monthly reports. Everything's pretty much going as the fire commissioners are making pretty good forward progress. They have created the fire chief's job description. And they're supposed to be working on the evaluation tools and that. The new fire truck, it requires training on all the new bells and whistles that go with it. So the staff is, the firemen and volunteers are being trained. The radios were still being gone. There was a small punch list left to do, but the truck isn't registered, it's insured. Just waiting for some more of the hoses and nozzles to come in. It's amazing how many little pieces that go into all that. Tomorrow's night's meeting will be actually reviewing the report from our strategic planning meeting we did in September. It's about 9 pages. Let's see, where did I put that? It actually goes over what we felt Danielson's identity is Danielson's future, the fire department future, marketing for the borough, as well as takeaways from it's a pretty in-depth questionnaire and a lot of giving and taking, and I couldn't make it because of a family commitment that day, but I did submit all my input via the questions. The fire department is also working on updating its SOPs, the procedures and guidelines. They'll be eventually set up on the website so that they can be reviewed. And our 24 audit report was given in October on the 22nd meeting. It's a clean audit, so that's always a good thing. And like I said, tomorrow night is our next meeting, so we'll be moving forward. And we had actually last just after Christmas, we had voted on new decorations to kind of go along with how, if you haven't noticed, the town hall has its Christmas decorations. So we actually voted on ways to include the fire station, seeing it is on that Academy Street is a historic road, a historic street. We'll be joining the town hall and looking festive at the fire department. So be on the lookout for festive Main Street Danielson. So
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on in the agenda. Next item up is item 12A, discussion and acceptance of monthly budget reports. Can I get a motion to accept the summary report on general fund appropriations for town government?
I'll make that motion.
Motion was made by Mr. Grandelski, second by Ms. Barclay. Discussion, question, comments? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We'll now move on to the agenda. Next item up is item 13A, Town Manager's Report. Brian, if you could go over this, please.
So last month, we completed our update on our bond rating. Happy to report that Standard & Poor's gave us a renewed rating of our AA+1, which is a very good rating for us to have. Following that, we completed borrowing for the KMS and Westfield Community Center projects, and we got a will interest rate of 2.59%. So I'd like to thank the finance team for their work and the economic development team on their work for the bond rating presentation. So without their support, we wouldn't have been able to pull that together and get that renewed. Fall leaf pickup is still in progress. Residents have until December 19th to call Public Works and have their leaves picked up. Number 779-5385. Recently, we've had 4 bridges that the town engineer applied for grant money for through the state's design construction program. So those have been accepted. The bridges are North Road, Wright Road, Peep Toad Road, and Cotton Bridge Road. The reason I mention that is because their design team's going to be out doing some field work, so you may see people out there doing survey work. It's going to take some time to get these bridges through the design process. That may take a year or two, and construction is not slated till 2028. So the construction's actually a ways off, but you may see some activity out there. Paving work is wrapping up for the year. There's one more street. Oh,
On
sorry.
those, I can't remember. Are those matching grants?
They're 100% funded. So the design work is front loaded by the state. When it comes to the construction, we'll have to borrow and then be reimbursed. We may be able to do some right out of cash flow without borrowing, but it depends how we decide to do them. If we do them all at once, obviously that's a much larger number. If we space them out or phase them, then it might be something we can handle internally. So there's one more resurfacing going on. That's on Dorn Street, and then it'll wrap up till spring. The crews might be out doing some work on catch basins to get ready for paving in the spring. On the sewer moratorium, we've been working through some technical details with our attorney and our consultant, and we just sent a counter back to Frito-Lay. So hopefully we'll have a meeting with them in the near future to see what they think. On the wastewater capacity planning project, we're still waiting for DEEP to give us the official go-ahead, and hopefully we'll get that soon. They did ask us a few questions, about our agreement with the design team and so on. So I guess they're working on getting us that approval, but it's just not coming as soon as we'd like. We've been making some progress slowly on the community center and KMS project. There's still many items to be resolved, but the contractor is starting to release rooms to the town for use. So we are making progress and starting to look at a move for mid-January and looking at the logistics for that, to take over that space. Sort of recap on the PFAS situation in Rogers. DEEP has sent letters out to 78 residents. Most of them have gotten back. There's some that they still haven't made contact with. We're working with the health department to try and make contact with those residences. I think about 75% of them have tested positive for PFAS levels and have availed themselves of having the water system installed. DEEP's rule of thumb is going to be that when they find a positive test result, they're going to expand the radius another 500 feet. So based on what they've found recently, they're expanding to some additional streets. And not all the residences on those streets will be tested. It'll be focusing on people that are not on public water and have septic systems. So that's where that stands. And just another recap on the old...
I have a question
Oh.
on that. I'm sorry, Brian.
Go ahead.
So I understand the public water thing, but are they concerned at all about infiltration, contamination? You know what I mean? It
Into-
might be worthwhile.
Into...
Into the public pipes?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they test that. They do test that water on a regular basis because they're a public water system. Yeah. So that would show up right away. Okay. So where was I? Recapping the old Killingly Pond Dam. No, that's all right. I think everybody knows that DEEP's ordered the pond to be drained to take some pressure off of the dam so that it doesn't have an imminent failure. So they ordered that on October 26th. The water level's been going down about 4 to 5 inches a day. That's going to continue. DEEP's ordered the owner to put together a plan to repair the dam and submit that to DEEP for their approval. So they have a couple deadlines they're working against. And the plan is due back to DEEP by January 6th. So then we'll hopefully learn more about what's wrong with the dam and what they're going to do about it.
I had a question on that too, Brian. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So every time I hear people talk about this, they're talking about 5 dams. Do you know if they're looking at all 5 dams or just this one?
Well, there are interconnected waterways.
Yeah.
And I think in the past they have looked at the how they relate to one each other and how the water flows. And I think they've looked at some of the integrity issues of the other dams in the past. But in this case, they're focused on that dam because that's where they saw the siltation coming through the dam wall leading up, in the days leading up to when they ordered the water level lowered, excuse me. We were able to do some environmental testing work recently on Bailey Hill Mill, and we're also going to be doing some structural evaluation work out there, so we should have some news back on that in the near future. I also wanted to just give a plug for Frosty's Big Night Out on December 5th at 5:45 p.m. at Davis Park, and then Breakfast with Santa the following morning at the community center. That's Frosty's Night Out was December 5th, 5:45, and the Santa Breakfast is Sunday, December 6th. There's 4 seatings starting at 8 o'clock and ending around 11. So that's what I have for my report.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, on the Bailey Hill Mill, are we expending town funds or is that DEP and EPA?
It's not our fund.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's,
Any other questions, comments? Public comment period is already over at this point. If the council wants, I'll entertain a motion to suspend rules to allow members to speak about this.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Grandelski, seconded by Ms. Barclay. So this would allow public to speak to the issue with the Killenly Pond Dam. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We just ask you to come up to the podium, state your name and address. As we would with normal public comment, we just ask that you keep the comments to 5 minutes per person.
Oh, I can do that. Thank you. Ida Barris. I live at 1123 North Road, East Killingly, but I also have property 299 Quinns Hill Road on Old Killingly Pond, or what was Old Killingly Pond. So I just wanted to make some comments. I had some information years ago when the pond had its problems. We worked very hard to save the dam, and Donna Bronwell did a lot of work on that as well. And my son Ian McDonald, some of you know, has also done it. But I just wanted to go over some of the things that hopefully the council can support. And so WISH has previously expressed a wish to divest themselves from the less than profitable responsibility and liability of the dam ownership and maintenance. There's also some potential for transfer of ownership of the dam and water rights from the state of Connecticut, the town of Killingly, or some other entity. While WISH hasn't left ownership of the pond and dam hasn't been a financial boon for them, there are likely more apparent value to the state of Connecticut and the town of Killingly, whose residents could continue to enjoy the excellent opportunities for swimming, paddling, fishing, hiking, bird watching, which this pond has provided for generations. Additionally, the natural underground springs in Old Killingly Pond contribute water to the entire Whetstone Brook. These waters are very clean and help maintain healthy water quality in the 5 Mile and the Quinebaug rivers for people, fish, and other wildlife. These waters, wetlands, and adjoining uplands are critical habitat for breeding and migrating birds and waterfowl. Many rare and threatened plant species are identified on the State Diversity Database and depend on forest and clean water in the Old Killingly and neighboring ponds. This pond is part of an interstate wildlife corridor used by mammals, birds, amphibians for breeding, feeding, and traveling. These properties are connected to hundreds of acres of already protected open space, both in Rhode Island and in Killingly, and connect economically. The two long-standing campground businesses bordering neighboring ponds could be adversely affected. Plus, town tax income could go down because parcels with no water views have reduced property values. Downstream, there are also concerns are flooding and well failures. The ponds in East Killingly have also been an important resource to the East Killingly Fire District for pumping water for fire suppression. I also think that the Dayville does as well. The existing open pond marsh ecosystems are becoming more rare, and as dams in Connecticut being breached in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, and dramatically changing the scenic pond environments and ultimately return the area to swamp and silt-filled streams. The potential change would produce the ultimate ecosystem of river wooded swamp habitats, which is common in eastern Connecticut. Habitat impacts our wildlife, birds, forests, and wetlands could occur over years, and as the ecosystem and wildlife plant communities transition. But basically, it's a beautiful, beautiful asset for the town of Killingly. Obviously, ideally, the state of Connecticut would take it, but nobody around us we have a couple other water places. They're not publicly accessible anymore. There is the Quinebaug Reservoir, but it's a much smaller access, I believe, and the water quality is not the same. And also, it's, well, I love it because I have a place there, and it's like a big family place. But, aside from me owning it, it's used by people all around here. Brooklyn doesn't have anything like this. Pomfret doesn't have anything like this. I know Thompson has their lakes, but it's really an asset, and and water is an asset. To own the water rights is probably not a bad thing looking forward. Thank you so much for listening to me, and please protect Old Killingly Pond.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to this?
Hello. My name is Gene Laro. I'm from 156 Pond Road. I'm not the eloquent speaker that Ida is, and I thought she did a fantastic job, and that's why I did certainly clap for her. She made a lot of good points. A couple of things that I've noticed. The day that the pond began to drain, I went over, there were 4 or 5 men there, and I recognized 2 or 3 of them. And I just want to commend our fire marshal for being kind and gracious and transparent and upfront. And that was really valued and appreciated. I also want to mention that Pond Road has never looked so good, you know, in terms of the way that it's maintained. And I would credit that to, do we call it the highway department or town garage or the director? You know, I seen a couch on the side of the road. And I let it sit there for a week or 2, and I said, geez, I'm gonna talk to somebody at the garage. I did, and within 24 hours, I think he went out there with one of his assistants, the director, took good care of it. The grading is beautiful. There's nothing, you can't find many cans that get thrown away because myself and a half dozen other people take care of it. Not for a year, not for 2, but for 10 and 25 years. So we really take good care of that area, and to see the devastation and what it has done to people who live there and visit and parade by to see, is this really possible here in Killingly? You know, our jewel of Killingly Pond, it's heartbreaking. So that's what I wanted to share, and hopefully you see my passion and concern. It's very important to be transparent. The town manager stepped up and said that he would post what's happening, which is I'm very grateful for. But to be surprised that day and to see the water drain every day, it's simply heartbreaking. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments regarding this? Seeing none, we'll move on. Were there any more comments from council regarding the town manager's report? Mr. Grandelsky.
With respect to Old County Pond, it's in the DEP's hands, and I think we gotta let them run with it. To get a little more gusto, I guess, we should contact the state legislators, because the town doesn't have, we're not involved. I mean, we can post what's going on, but that's about to the extent. But if you contact your state legislators, we have a senator, we have 2 state reps, let's get them involved. Maybe they can put a little more pressure on DEP.
That's on my plan.
It's there, if they're involved, maybe they just had an open session on their budget, you know, but it's too late for that time now, but next year is always another time frame. But I think that would be another avenue to pursue. And, you know, maybe with them, they might put some pressure for the state to buy it. Thank you.
Anything further?
I would have questions too about the past when they brought it up about I think it was all 5 dams at the time, whether the town could afford to take it or whatever. My understanding is the maintenance fee is only like $20,000. I don't want to say only, but honestly something that with highway department or whatever could probably be absorbed. It's the fixing that is the big thing. Have we done any looking into costs of similar dams, and are there grants available? Have we done any research on that at all?
In my brief conversation with the town engineer about the previous situation, they had done some rough analysis of costs looking at replacing the dam, and the figures were in the millions.
So
now that's not to say that it can't be repaired for less.
That's a full replacement.
Right.
I spoke with the town engineer myself as well, and he gave me the same thing. He said it would be looking at millions, and that's just for that one dam. That doesn't include the other 5, and I don't know that back then Wish was looking to, because Wish initially, this time was before my time. I believe Mr. Grandelsky might have been on the council back then. They were looking to just give the dams to the town, for the town to take over the responsibility. And at that point, the town council voted against it. They did come back again a few years back. They were offering us, off the top of my head, I think it was roughly $200,000 or something along those lines, and the dams for us to take them. And we had talked with the town manager, Mary Colorio had spoken with the town engineer, and it wasn't worth it financially at the time for the risk. And the insurance that the increase in insurance would have been astronomical. And it did not make financial sense for the town at the time. It is very disappointing that Wish hasn't maintained the dams better than they have. And it's really disappointing to see the impact on the ecosystem and wildlife that draining this dam down has created.
That might be something for, if there was past studies on the money for other people to see, that makes people realize the monumental task of a full replacement.
Any other questions for town manager's report? Seeing none, we'll move on the agenda. Next item up, Brian went over the WPCA moratorium during his manager's report. So I will entertain a motion to move new business items ahead of unfinished business for town council action. So motion to move items 15A through E ahead of items 14A through B.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Grandelsky, seconded by Mr. Gambatista. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. So we'll move on to item 15A, new business. Consideration and possible approval of the Northeastern District Department of Health Memorandum of Understanding.
So this is a request from the Health District to approve an MOU memorializing an arrangement between the town and the Health District that in the event of an emergency, we would provide logistical support to receive provisions and supplies from the national stockpile and set those up at KIS, and also provide transportation assistance if needed for residents to get there, and provide support for distributing those supplies from KIS if and when needed.
And just for the residents of the town, this is no cost to the town, correct?
There might be a cost at the time that we do it, but I'm assuming under the circumstances, since we'd be in an emergency activation, we would get reimbursed by FEMA.
This is an annual or reoccurring resolution that here.
This is a 3-year agreement.
3-year agreement.
It's a 3-year agreement.
This actually, historically, was something that came out when smallpox and long before COVID.
Right.
But basically, it was about being able to do a mass inoculation if we actually had to, smallpox or anthrax or something along those lines. So it was way before COVID. So, but yeah, I mean, you never know when an emergency situation is going to come up. So.
Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We'll now move on to item 15B. Consideration and action on a resolution regarding the use of federal fiscal year 2024 state homeland security grant funding and custodial ownership of regional assets in the Demus Region 4.
So this agenda item relates to reauthorization of this grant program. Currently, we're sharing and have custody of certain equipment through Homeland Security's grant program, and because there's a new town manager, they wanted a reauthorization with me as a signatory for the existing agreement. So there's really no change in what we're doing. We have custody of this equipment. We have a right to use it. If another town calls for it, you know, on an emergency basis, we'd make it available. Randy, is there anything you wanted to add?
Either one.
Good evening. Basically, the town of Killenly is in custody of a 40-foot sea land container, two mobile traffic control trailers, one with cones and barricades, one with, we call them Lego blocks for scene security. Also, we have a light tower and 2 message boards. This was due back in September with Ms. Colorio leaving us. We had to do a new authorization for a new town manager now that Brian has come on. This will be a good time to get that going so we can get that back to CCOG in January. Once this is done, usually the re-ups, as long as Brian stays as the town manager, usually doesn't have to go to this level. But I can still say that the highway department and the town uses these resources quite frequently. Any questions?
Any questions from council?
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. So I will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Motion was made by Ms. Barclay, seconded by Mr. Cottula. Any other questions, comments, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next item up on the agenda is 15C, consideration and possible referral of South Killenly Cemetery acceptance to the Planning and Zoning Commission pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes 8-24. Can I get a motion to refer this to Planning and Zoning Commission? Motion was made by Ms. Wakefield. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Cottula. Brian, can you go over this?
Sure. So the Federated Church of Christ of Brooklyn is in possession of this cemetery at 50 Cook Hill Road. It's about 0.69 acres of land. They took it over approximately 3 years ago, I believe, from another church and attempted to maintain it. They haven't been able to, maintain it, and it's not financially viable for them to have. And it hasn't been active in a long time, so there hasn't been a burial there for probably decades. They did take a couple of reservations for future burials, so those are outstanding. And the town has actually been providing some maintenance support over the past 3 years in any case. So at this point, they're looking to have the cemetery conveyed to the town for our ownership and care. And the first step in that process before we can take ownership of anything is to make a referral to the Planning and Zoning Commission under the Connecticut General Statutes, which is the business item tonight. So we would refer this over to them. They would give a report back to the council before you could act further on accepting ownership and responsibility for the maintenance of the cemetery. And then, assuming you did at that next step, it would need a further approval at town meeting.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Mr. Grondelski.
Is there an easement or access to this parcel? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's critical. Because some cemeteries, they were landlocked. and
It's
there was-
right there by the road. It's accessible.
Thank you.
There's actually a map of it in your packet. It's about
Oh, okay.
five
All right.
pages from the back.
All right, okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of referring this to Planning and Zoning say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is item 15D, consideration and action on the resolution authorizing the town manager to execute grant documents with the State of Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development for the Community Investment Grant Fund award to the town. Can I get a motion to adopt this resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Motion was made by Mr. Grandelski. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Seconded by Mr. Catula. Brian, could you go over this, please?
Yeah, so this relates to the former borough wastewater facility, which the town owns on 31 Oregon Road. It's adjacent to our existing wastewater facility. It's currently an underutilized property, has a perception of being a brownfield, and so we're looking for a grant from the State Department of Economic and Community Development in the amount of $250,000 to do environmental investigation, remediation, some feasibility study and design, potentially design work to look at reuse of this property. There is not a match for this grant, so if it's awarded, the town has no further financial obligation beyond the budgeted money.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Mr. Grandelski.
This has been we've had this for as long as the new sewer plant's been built. And it's time we're finally starting to do something. We keep pushing it off. So this gets the ball rolling. It's probably nowhere near what it's gonna take to take care of the problem, but at least we get this started, then we get some idea of what the issues are over there and maybe get a cost estimate of what the final cleanup might be. Or it might be, in addition, we might get additional funding to clean this area up. Is there any way that this could be, if this is cleaned up, we're trying to look for additional area for the sewer plant to pursue, instead of taking the Little League field, but I don't know if this is something that would work. But we are doing gravel excavation down at the Davis property. There's a lot of things going on,
I think it's in the mix.
so.
Yeah,
well,
like you
that's-
said, there's a lot going on. There's a potential relocation of the fields. There's the other Davis property. There's this property, which, on the
Well,
map,
we'd like
on
to
the
get
map,
this-
it's all
I'd like to see
connected.
this one cleaned up, and then it's available for further use.
Any other questions, comments? I believe we already had a motion and second on this. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Now we'll move on to item 15E, consideration and action on a resolution authorizing the use of up to $35,000 of Economic Development Trust Fund for appraisal and survey services for brownfield sites. Can I get a motion to adopt this resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Motion was made by Mr. Grandelski. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gambatista. Brian, if you could go over this, please.
Yeah, sort of as the agenda item implies, we're looking for $35,000 from the Economic Development Trust Fund. This is a fund that's been set up with proceeds from the sale of town properties in the past with the purpose of supporting economic development. And so there's some next steps we'd like to take in terms of having an appraisal done potentially in the future or further brownfields work in the future. And the Economic Development Commission considered this because that's a step in the process to accessing the funds. And at their meeting, they recommended that the funds be expended, but they do need town council approval to ratify that.
Thank you. And that would leave a balance of $288.69 in the fund.
That's correct.
Questions, comments from council? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We'll now move back in the agenda to item 14A, unfinished business for town council action. Consideration and action on the adoption of state mandated policies, including collection, development, and maintenance policy, program policy, display policy, and material review and reconsideration policy for the Killenly Public Library. Can I get a motion to adopt this?
I'll make that motion.
Motion was made by Ms. Murphy. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Wakefield. Brian, I know this came before us last month, but if you could just go over this again real quick.
Sure. So the state recently made this a requirement to adopt these model policies, looking at how you maintain and develop your collection, what type of programs you offer, what type of material you have in your displays, as well as providing a formal process for residents to lodge a complaint or make an appeal of how any of those things are done. And so if a resident wants to make a complaint, they can take that to the library director at the first level, the town manager at the second level, and then ultimately to the town council if any of those other levels are not able to resolve the issue. If they feel that there is material or displays or programs in the library that would violate these policies. And the policies are really, I mean, I think the overall goal is to avoid, bias or discrimination or supporting political activities with public funds in a public library.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
I had some areas that I didn't like the way they were written, and one of them in particular is in the, let's see. One, two, three, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th page, and it's at the bottom. It says, to some, much of the modern expression is shocking, but it is not much of life itself shocking. We cut off literature at the source if we prevent writers from dealing with the stuff of life. I mean, that doesn't sound like a policy to me. Not very professional. And there's other areas that are the same.
So, do you want me to comment on that? I mean, these have been presented to us as, we're not allowed to edit them further. I suppose we could make an edit and approve it and track it back to them and see if they take an issue with it. We could also not act on it, and, they could not give us our $8,300 in library aid money. So.
And who writes this?
The state.
The state writes it.
The state wrote the policies. Yeah.
How much was the money?
It's currently $8,300 annually in state library aid that the town receives.
Well, we're gonna have to spend additional funds to meet the requirements.
No, I don't think so. I mean, you might be a little more ordered about how you do these things, right? Because now there's a written policy, so, you direct staff's attention to it. This is how we go about putting together programs, and a reminder, no political programs, right? It's in the policy.
I guess they need a better policy writer.
Brian, did we receive any feedback on these policies from the library director?
I mean, she's not able to be at the meeting tonight. I think she did the work. She did the work with the contact at the state library department to, put the right words in about how these policies, what Killingley's library structure is. So those are edits that were allowed. And I know she tried to make other edits, and they kind of said this is the model policy. So.
So she didn't have a recommendation either way?
I mean, I don't think she has a problem with the policies the way they're written. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I abstain.
I abstain. All right, well,
you want me
that
to
was
call
so
a roll?
close, we gotta do a roll call vote. Brian, if you can do a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Grandileski,
I abstain.
Counselor Giambattista.
Yes.
Counselor Murphy.
No.
Counselor Cotrilla.
Yes.
Counselor Wakefield.
Yes.
Counselor Barclay.
No.
Chairman Anderson.
Based on some of the wording in there, my vote's no. So that's 3-3-1, motion fails.
Okay. Fair enough.
Next item on the agenda is item 14B, consideration and possible approval of board and commission guide. Can I get a motion to approve this? Motion was made by Ms. Barclay,
I'll second it.
seconded by Mr. Cottula. So Brian, I know we did go over this last month. I'll just, for the public, this was something that Mary Colorio had started working on while she was still town manager. Basically, it's a guide for our board and commission members, in a sense, for conduct. Bear with me 1 minute, try and get it back to that page. So it's our guide to serving on boards and commissions. I will open up to council members if there's any questions, comments, things you wanted to add, change, remove.
There was also an addition from the last meeting because there was some feedback about adding a section on conduct. And if you look at the last page of the policy, there's a few paragraphs there that address the expectations of conduct of board and commission members. That was not in the draft that was distributed at the original meeting last month.
One question I do have, Brian, is I understand this is a guide, especially considering that last section on conduct of board and commission members. What, based off our current charter and ordinances, if someone did conduct themselves in a manner that didn't fall under this code of conduct, what would be the consequences, the ramifications of it?
I mean, there's not a town ethics ordinance or an ethics commission. If I guess it was prominent that somebody was violating the conduct section of this manual, you might bring that up when they come up for reappointment. And failing that, unless it's something egregious that's covered in the charter, then you wouldn't necessarily be able to remove them from the commission or board for something that's a lighter offense under the language of this policy.
Our town attorney's already looked this over.
They have.
And I actually, regarding that last paragraph, kind of goes along with a conversation I had with the town attorney today when I was speaking to him about a few things. Because one of the things that was presented to me, and I was questioned about, is if a commission member is convicted of a crime outside of their duties on the board or commission, can that member be removed? And this was brought up due to a pending case right now, and right now it's a matter of there's nothing in our charter or ordinances that gives us the power to remove a board or commission member for actions outside of their official duties. This conduct in the guide does outline it a little bit more, but that's why I was asking Brian if, even with this, if that would give the town council or members of the community a way to have a board or commission member removed for actions outside of their official duties.
I mean, there could be extreme cases where they should be removed. Robbery, burglary, you know, DUIs. You're not representing the town with the best intent. Drugs.
I want to say, in Boston politics, you probably named all of that, and those people don't get removed. But then I think if you go forward, the direction you should go is a way for the people to remove them, because you don't want to get into a situation where a council or a staff or whatever it is removes what the people have decided. So, you know, that's just a thought.
Well, this would be board and commission members, not council, and the board and commission members are appointed by the council.
Oh, yeah.
So, I would almost want to see, and I believe we would have to do it by ordinance or by charter, language that would give the council the ability to do something if someone doesn't follow the guideline for boards and commission members. If not, then what's even the point of having a guide? I mean, if it's got no teeth.
Board of Ed censors, right? They censor. The Board of Ed is allowed to censor in their bylaws.
Yeah, I mean, that's, or as Brian said, that would, the only way right now is when they come up for reappointment. So,
I mean, it could also be the first step to eventually having an ethics, if that's something that people would be interested in.
well, there were 2 House bills presented this year that would have, had they made they basically came out of committee, were put on the calendar, but no action was ever taken on the floor on them. One of them was to require, I believe it was House Bill 6848, which was to require all municipalities to have some sort of, not necessarily an ethics commission, but code of ordinances or something regarding ethics on municipal officials, which in Killenly would be our town council. That was part of why last month I had brought up the ethics commission, because had that passed, we would have had to have had something in place by January 1st of next year. But
I
Don't
think
have
this-
anything in the charter for recall?
no, there's
No?
nothing in the charter for recall.
But I think if the state made such a law, they need to look at themselves first.
The other one, which I think was 6931, was regarding conflicts of interest for municipal officials as well. So that would have been another thing. That one did come out of committee, but the bill was set for the calendar and no action was ever taken by the legislature. So same thing with that one. There would have been requirements that would have had to have been in place January 1st, 2026, had either one of those passed. So I mean, that's my one concern about putting this in place, is without it having teeth. I mean, it's great to have a guide. I think it's good for especially new board and commission members, kind of, because I know when I first came on public safety before I was on a council, I had no clue as far as what to really expect, what was expected of me. So I can definitely see an advantage to having this. My big concern is you're basically making a guide, but you don't have any teeth to enforce it.
Yeah, and it also depends on who's enforcing it.
Very true, very true. So,
But it would be nice to have some sort of a guide, when new people come on board.
Yeah.
At least this starts the process. If you wanna look at something else, like you're saying, we do an ordinance as the enforcement mechanism, but at least there's something out there that someone comes, applies for a board of commission, at least they'll have this to go on before they walk in to the meeting. A little something. It's still nothing like experience, but it's a move in the right direction. It's not the final, I don't think it's the final answer, but
So the other thing I'll throw out there as well is, considering that there is gonna be a turnover in the council next month, is this something we wanna approve now, or do we wanna table this for the next council to have their input in it as well?
I don't see no reason, I see it going on tonight. If the new council doesn't like it,
They can change it.
so there'll be something in place.
Okay.
It's very basic.
Okay. All right, so we already have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, we're moving to item 16. So I know in the past, my time on the council, I don't know if this has ever been done, with a chair leaving the council. I know usually there's a message from the chair of the council once a new chair is appointed. This is something I had asked Brian to add in the agenda. After being on the council for 8 years now and spending the first 2 years as vice chair and the last 6 years as chair, I just did want to, just in a sense, have a message. I want to start with thanking all of the council members who have served alongside me over these 8 years, as well as the town staff, our previous town manager, our 2 previous town managers that have been with the town while I was on the council, our current town manager, Brian, who I am extremely happy is on board now, and I think he's going to do wonderful things for this town. Our town staff is phenomenal, has done a great job over these 8 years. So when I first started running for election my first time, when I was campaigning back in 2017, knocking on doors, I heard a lot of concerns from citizens. Everything from condition of our roads. I heard a lot about the potential power plant. I heard a lot of people saying here, because I asked people what they liked about the area, because I was relatively new in town at the time. And one of the biggest things I got from people, 2 biggest things I got were, they like it here because everything they need is close by. Yet, we have the rural nature of town. And I will say that after absorbing everything I could when I was out knocking doors, shortly afterwards, once Mary Colorio came on board, she actually took the town council members for a tour of the town buildings. And we looked at the schools, we looked at the town hall, the community center, the sewer plant. And I will say that was, for myself and other council members, that was truly eye-opening. We saw at KMS, we saw a bathroom that they couldn't use because the floor was rotted out. We saw insulation falling out behind the stage at KIS. We saw overcrowding here in the town hall to the point where downstairs they had converted a closet to an office. And it was, the tour of the sewer plant, there was equipment that was 50 years old and outdated, and this is before the upgrade, and the upgrade didn't even address the capacity issue. our community center. There were windows falling out of the community center. The heating system in the community center, it was extremely old. The age of the building and mechanicals of the community center, there were so many issues over there. And a lot of what I had heard from people in the town is we keep kicking a can down the road. And I had heard that a lot when I first came onto the council. And it's a tough position to be here because we're trying to maintain services. We're trying to maintain the buildings. We're trying to promote the community the best way we can. We're trying to encourage the right types of development, trying to protect our parks, protect our rural nature, without handcuffing development at the same time. And I learned really quick to have a tough skin because we're never going to make everybody happy. And the other thing we always had to be cognizant of is the impact on our taxpayers and our community. There are so many people in this community that live paycheck to paycheck that can't afford tax rate increases. And I will say, with the council members I've worked with the town staff, I think we did a good job of trying to balance all of that. We spent a bunch of money on roads. We renovated KMS, and that school is now going to be, we've created a better learning environment for generations to come. And we're able to do the project over at Westfield to utilize underutilized space over there to be able to move our community center to a bigger location to utilize that auditorium that's over there. We brought the gas line up to the high school. We had the solar projects which help reduce utility costs. And we did all of this while trying to minimize the impact on our taxpayers. And until this last reval, I feel we managed to get a lot done. I feel like we got way more done than I thought we would. And there's been challenges over the years. I mean, it was when we first scheduled public referendums for the renovations at Killenly Memorial School and the community center, COVID hit and we had to cancel the referendums. COVID brought a lot of challenges. We were running remote meetings. It delayed our plans on some of the stuff. But even through that all, and during COVID, we had an opportunity to do everything we could to help support our local businesses who were going through some very challenging times during COVID. And like typical New Englanders, we persevered, and I feel we were able to complete more than I thought was going to be possible. And again, I want to thank all the council members I've served with. I want to thank our previous town managers, our current town manager, town staff, and especially thank the community who put us in these positions to serve. And I think that's the most important thing for me, was always thinking of the community. And when I personally myself, when I made decisions, I based them on, and I believe every council member here did, always based decisions on what we believe was best for the community. And that's the important thing about sitting in a seat. And in a lot of times it can be a thankless job. And I saw things going on in town outside of what we did here. As a council, I saw the facade work in downtown, the mural that's across the street at 161 Main Street, the businesses that were coming into downtown, the renovation of downtown, and I really feel Killenly is on track to become something great again. And I just hope to see the new council coming on to continue to keep moving Killenly in the right direction. And first and foremost, listen to the community. Work with your town manager, work with Brian, work with town staff, and keep everything going and keep the ball rolling. And again, I just want to thank everyone. I had set goals early on, and was able to achieve all of them. The one thing I wish I was still on the council for to see is what comes out of the Vision Committee, and to help implement what comes out of the Vision Committee, because that is something I was pushing for even before COVID hit. And I'm so glad that we're able to create that. I want to thank those of you here who supported me in creating the Vision Committee. And I ask those who still will be here to support the Vision Committee, because without direction, it's hard to really move forward. And I know I get a little long-winded sometimes, and I want to thank you for tolerating that. And it's been an honor to serve, and I look forward to seeing the direction Killenly goes in. So thank you, and now we'll move back on in the agenda.
I should get one, Jason. And I want to say thank you so much. I mean, I'm not sure about the thing when we're supposed to do it, but thank you so much for your service, Jason. And I just want to say this was a great, great experience for me. It wasn't like, oh, a happy, fun experience. It was like really challenging and torturous, and the decisions are hard, and the interactions are hard, and the learning curve was way over my head at times. But it was just such a great experience, and I thank the town so much for putting their faith in me for 4 years. And I wish the new council coming on the best, and power to the people. Woo!
Thank you. So next item up is item 17, council member reports and comments. Ula, if you would like to start.
I did not attend the planning and zoning meeting yesterday, and the housing authority meeting was tonight, so I told Carol Green I would not be there.
Thank you. Tammy?
I gave a little bit of a rec report on Winnie. I did do some shout outs for the high school. I know Brian mentioned if you wanted to go out for Frosty's Big Night, it's the 5th of December. Well, the FFA Holiday Shopping Night is a great opportunity. A lot of local vendors, a lot of the ag students that have SAEs, they actually have products that they sell that you can purchase. And the horticulture students actually create a lot of really nice holiday centerpieces and wreaths and kissing balls, and they're all reasonably priced, and everything goes back into the program to support the students. Holly would definitely be happy about me mentioning again Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They have multiple performances for 2 weekends. Get there, and the 13th of December at noontime is the sensory friendly one. But there's 3 performances at 2 p.m. and 2 performances at 7. So there's plenty of opportunities to go see it, and if you get a chance, it's great. I did get a chance to go to the follow-up workshop with the Westfield Congregational Church for the Homeless. Pastor Chapman runs a really good meeting. In an hour's time, you don't waste in time. You get right to the point. We summarize, and I think beginning of December, and I think it was December 2nd, is the next one, where we're gonna take some of those ideas that came out from the different working groups and see what might be something that's feasible and plausible for us to do. I do want to shout out to all the Killing High sports teams. They all made it into postseason play this year, which is like a time that they've done that in a really long time. Football team is doing great. Right now, they're 22-0 for a winning streak, which I believe is the longest for a high school team in the state of Connecticut. I'm cautiously optimistic and hoping for a 26-0, which would be 2 seasons of undefeated play. But I cede myself to Chad's philosophy of four quarters at a time each game. Take it as it comes, but these are some really super stellar student athletes. And Tony, I know, was a student athlete, and when we were into high school, these guys outshine us by a long track. Rec is having their meeting next Monday, so we'll be going over that and a lot of the holiday stuff. And if you do get a chance to go to Breakfast with Santa, that you have to pre-purchase the tickets. There are family meal deals. That's the 6th of December. Pictures with Santa after that, and there's holiday crafts as we've been doing for the last, 5, 10, 15 years or so. Kids enjoy it, parents enjoy it, so it's a lot of really cool things coming in Killingly for the holidays, and so I encourage everybody to get out there and do some stuff.
Mr. Cottula.
As Brian had mentioned, the permanent building committee, the finishing of this community center is painfully slow. They are making progress, but it's slow. Did that wrestling room get turned over? Has that been released and turned over now?
I think there's a date.
I'm getting a nod in the
There's a date.
hallway, so it's been turned
Yeah,
over.
Yeah, it's been turned over. There you
Yeah.
go. The last email I read, there was a date. But
Well, I think
that's great if it's been
the
turned
completion date that that they had there, the construction manager, was November 28th, but I don't think they're gonna make that. But
over. It was November 15th, and they refused.
They already
They
bumped it
refused
back.
to acknowledge that they wouldn't make it
Yeah.
a couple months ago.
Yeah,
So
I think the last
think
timeline
it's
I
pretty
saw
much
was
evident.
the
Yeah.
28th, but, so it's going along, it's going very slow, and hopefully they do make their deadline and we can take over to do our stuff in there.
I went to planning and zoning, and the truck stop for Belleville exit did get approved, and the smaller portion of the rural development to commercial, 355, 341, I think those are the numbers. It was a small little box that unlandlocked the large, huge commercial development behind that did go through. But I think the number is 348 across the street did not go to low density. And then I went to the school meeting, and they are looking at the roadway to the back, and they're still progressing with that. That was like the main thing. That's all I got.
I attended last week Agricultural Commission. So they wound down. Obviously, the community garden is done for the year. They did something interesting. They do a newsletter. I think they do it quarterly now. And they attended a couple of the farmers markets, and they're starting to doing interviews with local farms. So they're starting to incorporate those interviews to kind of just get the word out of what's available and in our area for local farms. So I thought that was really good. I believe since the last time we were here, we did a couple ribbon cuttings. Shout out to the Rustic Sunflower, which is right behind Pizza Pizzazz and Gloria's Kitchen, open in Dayville. Those are both good. And I think that's it. But I would like to say, Michelle, it's been a pleasure. You definitely made me think of things from a different point of view. I think that's it's always good. I think we get stuck in our ways, and it's good to actually think about something from another point of view, not just your own. Sometimes you're stubborn with that, but it's good. And Jason, I found you to be incredibly well prepared. People may not see the same on everything, but I do think your attention to detail on the matters was very, very professional. I couldn't commend you any more for that.
Ed?
On the WPCA, they had to pay for paving out in front of 550 Hartford Pike, where the new development is, the Starbucks and the Five Guys and whatnot. The sewer line was settling, and DEP said it was the responsibility of the WPCA. They accepted that. They ended up paying $32,000, and the road was paved last week. And as Brian said, we're still working on the sewer upgrade, and they're working on negotiations with Frito-Lay. As far as the Conservation Commission, they were here a couple of meetings ago. So you got it from the horse's mouth. They're active. They're doing a lot of things at Cat Hollow. The Master Gardener people and conservation people are putting in a lot of time over there to make that happen. And then I think they were looking at having a bus tour prior to the Christmas holiday. And I don't know, the few times that I went to Cat Hollow, I don't know what we can do to get more parking over there. There's some, again, it would be more utilized, I think, if we had more parking. That seems to be the second place to go. Owen Bell is a huge success. Everybody's there all the time, but it's people want something a little bit less. So Cat Hollow is the place to go. I think once the logging operation gets done over on Chase Reservoir, that may be another area, but that's going to be a while before that forest management and logging and all that is finished. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Cable Advisory didn't meet last month. Public Safety still doesn't have a quorum, and Zoning Board of Appeals didn't have anything.
I have one other comment, if I could go back to, you mentioned the wrestling room, so they have more state titles than anyone else, and it seems like the space they're getting is not, I don't think it's adequate for them. So I don't know what, or if anything can be done. I think it's kind of tough that we built a high school and they don't have a room for them. There's really not a home for them, so I don't know what the solution is, but that program is, I mean, it fosters a lot of kids staying involved, staying in school, and it seems like they do not have the space that they need. I'm not saying there's an easy solution, but I think they deserve it. I had a couple people come up to me, which I don't get a lot, but they were real passionate about it. So.
Thank you.
Oh, there was actually two other, the automotive place down off of, at the old Benny site. There was a detailing place, they had a ribbon cutting. And then Jonathan's, Cecilini and Tilly had their ribbon cutting for their, so this business is coming, so.
All right. We have nothing for executive session, so
Oh, one other thing. I'd like to thank you and Michelle for your time here. It was interesting. We did the sewer plant, you had a lot of information, and I appreciate that, especially that was a good interaction, and I think you did a good job as chair. We moved along. Thank you.
thank you. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion was made by Mr. Grandelski, seconded by Ms. Barclay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?